Hi everybody, I am Eduardo Figueiredo. I am a fine art restorer and a conservator. And in today's video, I'll be sharing with you from A to Z the complete process of restoration of an old painting I made some time ago. This painting applies the technique of oil on canvas, and it is a painting from the 17th century. Also, it's a painting that is from the Italian school. So this is going to be a very interesting restoration, so let's jump into the restoration.
This is a beautiful painting, but it has many issues with its condition and needs significant attention. The old linen used for a previous relining is no longer doing its job. The aged varnish is blocking some details and the true colors. So, in this project, I will remove the painting from its stretcher, apply a new linen, and clean the painting by removing the old varnish. The glue that was used in the past to glue the support linen is failing in many areas, and the nails are no longer holding. They are completely rusted. It's clear that the time has taken its toll on this piece. There's also a lot of grime and several fissures in the painting. This is one of those projects that will require extensive conservation procedures. To handle the painting safely, I first need to protect it with a facing. I will apply this using Japanese paper and gelatin glue. To prepare the glue, I mix gelatin with water and dissolve it using a double boiler. Once fully dissolved, I begin applying the paper in small sections, and while I could apply one large sheet, for this painting I prefer working in smaller parts. Once the surface is fully covered and protected by the paper, I allow it to dry. And as a colleague of mine would say, for now, we say goodbye to the painting. It's now safe to remove the nails and take the canvas off the stretcher. As is often the case, in this painting is no exception, the back is very dirty. I clean off as much as I can, although At this point, it's not as important because I will be removing the old linen soon. And the process of removing the old linen isn't complicated. I usually start at the corners, carefully separating the old canvas while applying steady pressure to protect the original painting. Once the old linen is separated, I can begin removing the glue residues from the back of the painting. This is typically rabbit skin glue, and using a scalpel blade, I scrape away the glue. I could also moisten the glue, let it soak, and then remove it, but I will save that technique for a future video. And for this project, I will remove the glue by gently scraping. And once the bag is completely free of the glue, I can prepare for the relining using a classic relining technique. This mixture combines beeswax and resin, two natural materials chosen for their unique properties. The process begins by selecting high-quality beeswax, which is known for its flexibility and resistance to cracking. This is then carefully melted over low heat. The key here is to maintain a controlled temperature, preventing the wax from overheating, which could compromise its quality. Next, the wax is introduced into the melted resin. Typically, damar resin or another natural resin is used for its adhesive strength and protective qualities. As the resin melts, it combines with the beeswax, forming a smooth viscous liquid, and the ratio of wax to resin is critical. Too much resin can make the composite brittle, while too little may reduce its adhesive power. Once fully blended, the mixture must be carefully stirred to ensure consistency. It is then cooled slightly, and here I make a good quantity that I divide in smaller portions so I can use the quantity I need for each project that I may have in the future. At this stage, it's ready for application to the canvas. As the composite is applied to the back of the painting, it penetrates the fibers, securing them without damaging the artwork itself. This step requires precision, ensuring the adhesive spreads evenly without affecting the painting's texture. In this case, the paint is very flat, there is no impasto, so I can apply a relative pressure without compromise anything on the painting. The wax resin mixer gives strength to the canvas, providing long-term stability while also maintaining flexibility, essential for preventing future cracks and distortions. Through this honored process, the wax resin composite plays a vital role in the conservation of artworks, allowing them to endure the test of time. Finally, the artwork is restretched, ready for the next stage of conservation. Through this process, the wax resin composite relining provides a vital foundation, ensuring the painting's longevity while maintaining its original beauty. Using a hot iron, I apply moderate pressure and heat in circular motions, and this movement melts the wax resin composite, allowing it to penetrate through the various layers of canvas until it reaches the back of the paint layer. This process reattaches any loose paint back to the canvas, stabilizing the artwork. Additionally, the old canvas is bounded to the new support canvas, strengthening the overall structure of the painting. With the new support canvas in place, I move on to the next step. At this stage, it is safe to remove the facing from the painting. This facing was protecting the surface while I worked on it, especially during the manipulation required for relining. The protection is crucial during these steps. To remove the paper that was previously glued with gelatin, I used distilled warm water and a metallic spatula. First, I brush a small amount of water over the paper to allow the gelatin and paper to absorb the moisture, which softens the bond and makes the paper easier to remove. Well, easy is a bit of an exaggeration in this case. The paper isn't coming off as easily as expected, but I know that it's my fault. I used too high concentration of gelatin when adhering the paper to the canvas. It wasn't necessary to use that much. But I've learned my lesson for the next time. Don't be too generous with the glue. When the painting is free from the facing, I can lay it flat on my work table. This is a beautiful 17th century Italian school painting, meaning it was created in Italy following the artistic trends of that time. Before I begin the cleaning process, I need to carefully identify any areas with previous retouching, as these retouches may disappear during the cleaning process. It is also important to note where the old varnish is thicker, as those areas might require more effort to remove. The greenish reflections usually indicate the presence of old varnish, while the darker spots suggest possible retouching. Now that I have a better understanding of this painting, it is safe to proceed with the cleaning and the varnish removal. Cleaning a painting is always one of the most rewarding aspects of a restoration. It's a beautiful process to see the artwork gradually freed from layers of dirt and grime. It's normal for paintings of this age to accumulate a lot of dirt on their surface, although the amount depends on the environment in which the painting spent its life. Common sources of dirt include smoke from fireplaces or cigarettes and grease from certain atmospheres. Using this special soap mixture, I can remove the dirt more easily. This painting isn't excessively dirty, but even the small amount of grime being removed is already making a noticeable difference in its appearance. The removal of the varnish is a delicate and crucial step in the restoration process. Over time, varnishes can yellow and obscure the true colors and details of a painting. By carefully removing the old varnish, the original brilliance of the artwork is revealed. Using a specialized solvent, I gently dissolve the varnish layer without affecting the paint beneath. It's important to be cautious as excessive pressure or the wrong solution can damage the underlying layers. Slowly, as the varnish is removed, the painting starts to regain its original vibrancy, revealing details and colors that have been dulled for years. In some areas, time and other things caused parts of the painting to be lost. This means there are small holes in the paint layer. These holes need to be filled with putty so the surface is smooth and even. This is important because when I do the retouching later, you won't be able to see any bumps or notice where the paint was missing. When the entire surface of the painting is level, I can apply a varnish that will separate my retouching from the original painting. I prepare my own varnish for this. I use a solvent and a resin, measuring the right amount of resin according to the quantity of solvent I'm using. I prepare a small bag made of gauze to hold the resin, and I place it in the container with the solvent, letting it sit until the resin completely dissolves. I also add an agent that blocks the harmful effects of the sunlight. And voila, the varnish is ready. Once the relining is done, the cleaning of the paint is complete, the varnish is removed, and the putty is applied to the areas in need, I can restretch the painting on its original frame. The stretching also requires some technique. I gradually apply the nails in different parts of the stretcher. For example, I don't apply all the nails on one side and then on the other. Instead, I apply them in a way that ensures the canvas is evenly stretched on all sides of the frame. The layer of varnish that I'm going to apply serves more than one function. First, and very importantly, it isolates the original painting from any retouch I may need to make. Second, the varnish enhances the saturation of the colors at this stage, which helps me achieve more accurate colors during the retouching process so they match better with the original painting. I'm going to start the retouching. I normally begin with areas that don't require too much detail, so I can warm up before taking the more challenging sections. And the brushes I'm using here aren't the best. In fact, they should be much more finer. However, at the time I performed this restoration, these were the only ones I had. And they are a little bit too thick. But I was able to achieve the final result that I wanted. So I let you enjoy now part of the retouching process. The retouch is complete and it took so many steps to get here, but the painting looks amazing. Now it's time for the final coat of varnish, which will protect my retouching and enhance the saturation of the colors, making them look much deeper and absolutely beautiful. This varnish is a different resin from the one I applied before the retouching, and it's the most suitable for the final coat. In the beginning, this painting was in need of a lot of attention. It is a beautiful painting, but it was hidden behind a lot of bad issues. After several procedures of conservation and restoration, this painting can shine again. The inspiration that did inspire the artist to create this painting is now so much clearer. This painting is full of interesting details, and now I let you admire some of them. Enjoy! If you have watched the video this far, you must be a true art enthusiast. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!